Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Balancing Act today. Very special guest that we have for you. This is May Busch. May, good to see you.
Great to see you, Celeste.
I'm looking forward to this chat with you. Thank you so much. May Busch, speaker and author and founder of Career Mastery. And you do those things, but so much more as well. So I'm so glad that you're here because I think a lot of you are going to get so much out of this great interview. Let's first start with something that has kind of made some headlines, I guess you could say right now, is your new book. Can we show this real quick? If you can lift
Absolutely.
It up. Yes, it's called Visible, and there it is right there. What is this book about?
Yeah, this book is helping people who I call them good people who are sincere, hardworking, always trying to do the right thing and care about others, helping you to advance in your career without playing politics, selling your soul, or working yourself into the ground. And that is actually the subtitle. But I am, what I wanted to do with this book is take all the things I learned, mostly the hard way, from my own 24-year career and now coaching people and speaking about the subject, to have some very concrete, pragmatic, actionable ways to advance in your career, to get promoted or whatever it is that you're aspiring to, and still be true to your values.
I think that's something that a lot of people are looking for. Let's start in the beginning. You're from New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yay, New Jersey. Anybody out there? I know we're in Arizona, but yeah, New Jersey.
And so you grew up there, went to high school there, and
Yes.
then where did you go to college?
I went to Harvard undergrad and majored in economics.
And then once you graduated with an economics degree, what was next?
So what was next? And I was this very diligent, hardworking, I always thought of as nice Chinese girl. And I was very good at doing what was expected of me, which was just to take all the steps and keep progressing. And so the next thing I did was I got a job. And I got a job at the highest paying, most prestigious, most interesting, fast-paced, challenging thing I could find, which was investment banking. And I didn't even know what it was at the time.
Wow.
And my family members still probably think that I was a stockbroker because that's all they knew.
They're like, what is investment banking? So you learned the ropes there, and
Yeah.
how fast did that happen, and then you settle into the job?
Well, back then, it was a 2-year financial analyst program. So you kind of got kicked out after 2 years.
Okay.
And you were expected to go to business school. So that's what I did. And I went back to Harvard for business school. I know, very unimaginative, but my husband...
It's hard to get in there.
It's a lot harder today than it was back when I was getting in, believe me. And half the time I look at it and think, wow, would I have even gotten into these schools
Yeah.
today? It's so different. But yeah, so I went to Harvard Business School and actually found it really challenging. Mm-hmm. I did not like it.
Yeah.
But now I love all my former classmates. I go to every
Yeah.
reunion, but it was really hard.
What was the challenging part? Just the schoolwork, or was it balance, or what was it?
Yeah, such a good question. So for me, it was speaking in class.
Oh, really?
I struggled with that. And unfortunately, most of your grade, I can't remember what percent, but something like 80%
Oh.
was your class participation. And it was
Wow.
this case study method. So everybody read a case, and then you had to be prepared in a room of 90 classmates to talk about your view of it, your opinion, what you would do. And that just was not any part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
I struggled.
But you graduated.
I graduated. I did. And
We're glad you did.
I mean, if I were to go back today, I could nail it. I could so nail it, but it was
Right?
hard.
Because
yeah.
now you're a speaker. How funny, right? You look back to those days and you're like, the things that are most difficult for us and challenging in the early days sometimes are the things that are part of what we're supposed to be doing, like our calling in life.
Wow. You know what?
Right?
That is a mic drop moment, Celeste. No one has ever said that to me.
Oh, really?
You are so right.
You know, it
Yes.
was, and you look back and you're like, gosh, that was really challenging, but you met the challenge and then you conquered it and you're like, wow, this is what I'm this was a part of my calling. It's what, you're
Yes.
here speaking on the podcast.
Yes, and I do that for a living. I speak, I
Yeah.
talk. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's pretty remarkable.
Thank you, yeah.
So you conquer that, you graduate from Harvard, and then what was next after that? You were dating your boyfriend at the time,
was.
yes?
We met freshman week.
Yeah.
And so I'd known him for a long time. And so we got married right after business school and then moved to New York, where I did what I vowed I would not ever do, which was I went back into investment banking.
Well, you needed a paycheck, you said, right? Like you
Yep.
have, you were married, and did you have children, or were you
Not
planning?
yet, but
You're
we were
planning.
definitely planning.
Yeah.
Definitely planning. And I also was very much affected by the fact that when I was growing up,
Yeah.
we were very tight on money at home. Now, my parents, it never bothered them, but as a kid, I remember having a budget to go to the book fair.
Yeah.
And my mother would say, okay, you've got $1.50, which back then could actually buy you multiple books at the book fair. And you can either buy one book for $1.50, or you could buy, whatever, 5 books for 25 cents, whatever it was,
Yeah.
the math. And it was just always that budget thing. And so I always wanted to make enough money that I could, support my family, my parents, and not have to worry about the book fair.
Yeah, the budget, right?
The budget, yeah.
No, and so I do have to ask you, now that you are so much more successful, and I'm guessing you make good money, but you have your own company and you travel and you're a speaker. Do you still live on a budget?
I don't do a per se,
Yeah.
but I still am working on that money mindset. It's
Yeah.
really hard to get rid of the things that you have ingrained in you, whether through society or where you live or the school, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And one of those was also that I should just keep my head down, work hard, not make waves. When you go into the workplace, and you need to show up and make waves. But
Well,
anyway, I don't want to get ahead of
No,
ourselves.
and I'm glad you mentioned that, because and just to touch on this, and we can revisit it later. As a female in the workplace,
Yeah.
I think especially probably back when you were, and your former COO of
Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley,
Yes.
and I think that's really important in a time when maybe we didn't see as many women in those high-ranking roles. You are from New Jersey. Your family's now in San Diego. Your parents.
Yes.
You live in London.
Correct.
Yes.
Or outside of London.
Or outside of London. Take us, if you can, how you ended up in London, and was it through Morgan Stanley?
Yeah. So when I went back to Morgan Stanley, I was in New York and did that first 10 to 12 years in New York, got all the promotions up to managing director. And then there was a moment in time when they asked me to transfer to London to start a business for them, the corporate bond origination business, which, well, we
Yeah.
don't need to go into details. So start a business for them in London. And I at first said, no, I can't do that. At that time, I had a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old,
Oh, wow.
and my husband working as a teacher in New York. And so I said, no, I can't do that. Thank you. So I go home. My husband says, I said, oh, yeah, I have this, can you imagine? They asked me to transfer to London. I said, no, of course, I'd never uproot us. And he said, what are you talking about? London would be fantastic. Go tell them you'll do it.
Wow.
So I had to go back and say, that little job thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so you went there, and did you rise in the ranks, I'm guessing, there? And how many jobs did it take you to make it to the COO?
Well, when I first got there, I alienated one of my 2 major stakeholder groups, and B, almost burned myself out trying to do it all myself.
Oh, no, yeah.
But then I did overcome that.
It's just growing pains, right? They're growing pains
They-
in leadership.
They are. And it's also harking back to sometimes the old way you did something for me, which was just working harder. I would just redouble my efforts. So I kept doing that. But you can only redouble so much before
Yeah.
you run out of gas.
Well, and especially if you want to continue to rise
correct.
in different ways.
Yes. And so I had to find a new way of working, which is what I did. And one that involved building a team, having the team grow and
Yeah.
not feel like I needed to be the hero on everything. So, so it took me maybe 3 or 4 additional steps to get there. And there's a
Wow.
lot of happenstance involved. Mm-hmm. And, because one of the reasons that I got that role was because of the prior role I had, which was about helping the whole organization operate together. So it was a cross-functional type of thing.
Yeah.
And I was very good at that. And that got me on the radar of the chairman,
Wow.
who then said, hey, I'd like you to be my COO.
You mentioned some of it was happenstance, but a lot of it too is what we do as individuals, right? It's persistence, it's perseverance, it's we're all facing these challenges. How did you get through those challenging times?
Yeah, a lot of persistence. Because one of the things I didn't mention is I was going to quit every single year in the first 9 years.
Thank you for saying that. Because it gets so hard that
Yes.
you're thinking, maybe it's not meant for me if it's this hard.
Yep.
Right, initially.
Yes. Were you actually there in my head? But yeah, I would just come home and say to my husband, I'm exhausted. I don't think I can do this. It's not using the best of me. I was always better
Yeah.
with people than with analytical crunching numbers, and you have to get past that in the business I was in.
Yeah.
So he just kept encouraging me, and I think he had seen his own mother give up her career to raise 5 kids, and he didn't want to. She wasn't.
He didn't want to see you do the same thing.
He didn't want to see me do the same thing, exactly. So he just kept on helping me move forward. And I also, I think everybody realized that I would be pretty miserable for my family if I was at home all the time.
Yeah. They're like, Mom, go to work. You got to get out of the house.
Exactly, because I mean, on each of them.
All these challenges you've experienced as you rose in corporate America, and in different other ways as well, have really helped you to put the book together.
Yes. If I hadn't gone through all these challenging experiences, and I just would not have any material to share with people to help them, because I was not a natural at banking. I was not even a natural at corporate America. And so sometimes when you learn things the hard way and you have to figure it out, as long as you take good notes, which I did, then it can be such a fulfilling experience.
Yeah, it really can. And you just mentioned a moment ago that every year you were like, I can't take this anymore. Like, I think I just need to move on and do something different. And I think we all hit that point in our careers. Maybe it's once or twice or every year, like you may. And then you think, okay, well, but I love what I do, or I'm going to wait it out just to see what happens, and then that passes. And Visible, I think, will take people on your journey. What do you hope people learn from the book?
Yeah. The number one thing I hope is, and this is especially for high achievers, the number one thing is it's not just about your performance at your current job. It is about demonstrating your potential for the next one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Good point. And so you start the book off how?
I start the book off with a story from a time when I was already a senior person and I was already a speaker and had my big career. And I met some younger women, men and women, but in this case it was a young woman who was going through very much the same thing that I had been going through, just saying, oh gosh, I'm exhausted. I wanted to rise to law firm partner one day, but this is just, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick it out.
Yeah. And what helps us stick it out?
I think it is about not working harder and not even working smarter. I think it's about stepping back and working strategically on your career. So I know for me, I was so dedicated that I just was focused on my task list, getting everything done to an excellent standard, handing in my homework early, getting an A with a little gold star, right?
Yeah.
It's no longer about that. And that's what we're all taught in school, from grade school onto university. And instead, I really needed to find easier ways to do things, find the ease, and not take everything as needing to be done to that excellent standard. And my mother kept telling me this. I get this from my father. He's about excellence, and the apple did not fall far from the tree for a lot of good things, and also for this. But my mother would just keep saying, sometimes good enough is good enough. And she was telling me that about the home front.
Yes.
But it is true at the work front as well.
Yeah, and I think true too for people, and this isn't just for moms who work, but I think single dads or grandparents, but I think it's a lot of imperfection is real, and none of us are going to walk this earth without being imperfect.
Yes.
And so it's like, if it's good enough, well, I did my best. Like, it's good enough. And so for a lot of working parents, I think sometimes that is the struggle too, right?
Yeah.
Balancing work, home life, figuring out how to put food on the table, and being visible on your job, and being able to rise so that you can provide a better life for your family.
Exactly, which is the second thing that is important for sticking it out. Because when you don't feel seen, heard, and respected, it's really hard to stick it out. Right? That's when you really feel like, I'm doing all of this. Why does this person get ahead and I'm doing all this great work and not getting seen?
So you go in the book, you go into how to become visible.
Yes.
How to be seen.
Yes.
What are a couple of the ways that we can do that?
Yep. So the framework that I like to use is, well, first, let me step back. It's really about understanding who the decision makers and influencers are, because they're the ones who need to know you, see what you're capable of at the next level.
Okay.
And then once you do that, then you want to figure out what you specifically need to work on. And it's going to be in one of three areas. You either need to work on the way you work with people, which is managing those senior relationships, communicating, leading a team. You need to work on the business, which is about creating more opportunities, showing you can get beyond your task list and look strategically and being decisive. Or it's working on yourself. So that self-awareness. And sometimes, I was my own worst enemy. So I needed to do a lot of work on myself. And it's also making sure you have a presence and a profile, and creating this community of support around you. And that might be one of the most important things, especially you were talking about for single parents, for moms who are like me. Even though I was working, I felt societal norms were telling me my kitchen needed to be spotless. I needed to bake homemade cookies for the kids to bring into school.
What do you mean I need to sew your costume for the play at school? Like, it's just hard to manage it all, right? It's hard to manage. And then you're thinking, I really want to rise at work, and how do I manage that? And sometimes I feel like, you know what? It's just a mindset. It's a mindset thing.
It is. And you know what actually got me to see that really clearly? So a lot of times it's a story we tell ourselves that I was telling myself. So I had stayed up late to bake these darn cookies up till 1 a.m. I had to leave the house at 6. And I go and deliver the cookies, and I discover that most of the moms had bought Oreos or store-bought muffins.
Yeah.
I was the only one who
You're like, why did I put that much work into it?
And it was just the story I was telling myself about what it means to be a good mother, what it means to be a good worker. And so I think if we interrogate, what does it really mean to be a good, whatever it is, mother, sister, daughter, worker, leader, then we can make it a lot more doable for ourselves.
And maybe the expectations we have of ourselves, they're too high.
Mine certainly were. I can't speak for everyone else, but it sounds like at least the two of us can relate to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And and I think when your expectations are so high, you're just not going to meet them. You know,
It's impossible.
It's impossible to meet even your own expectations, let alone,
Yep.
you know, people on, you know, your coworkers or your spouse or your children. Like, oh well, hey, you know what? You made it alive. You got to stand. You ate today. you were able to walk this earth. Like, you survived another day.
Exactly. And yeah, just on that front, I remember rushing home from the office.
Yeah.
Just sweating when I got there to my daughter's saxophone recital. I slid into the front row just as she was starting. And then at the end, I said, oh, Mommy is so sorry that she's, I don't know why I was talking in the third person, but I think I actually said, Mommy is so sorry it was late. And my daughter said, Mom, I don't care if you come to my saxophone recital.
Oh.
But my basketball games, those are important. And I'm thinking, gosh. So after that, I sat all three of my kids down and looked at the school calendar and said, okay, which of these do you want me to come to?
Oh, and what a relief that was.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I think it's communication, right?
Yeah.
Like, and is that part of also what you go into in the book?
Yes. Communicating
with the different, I guess, you know, people in different parts of your life.
Absolutely. And you just want to make sure that it's not the golden rule of treating people the way you would want to be treated. It's treating them the way they want to be treated.
Yeah.
And then having the lines of communication so that you can really understand what matters to them. Mm-hmm. And then you can really focus. And that's just going to streamline so much. The mental energy, the physical time. So that is one of the ways to create more attention, energy, mind space, time even.
You know, you touched on something, I think, and I wanted to see if you could share a little bit more about it. But when it comes to being visible in the workplace and rising, and, you know, you're looking forward to another promotion, it's not about, like, the task list, as you mentioned. It's actually more peripheral. Like, there's other things outside of, like, your to-do list that you have to work on.
Yes, it's about how you show up more broadly. And I'll give you an example. And at this point, so I've been in those rooms behind closed doors at a senior level where we're discussing the future of...
You're in the C-suite at that point.
I'm in the C-suite at that point. Even a little bit before that, I was.
Wow.
And when you're in those rooms, you start to really get insight into what matters. So if somebody is excellent at their job, that just means they're super qualified for that job. And that person might even get pigeonholed for that job.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I've actually been in a room, this is a little unusual, but I've been in a room where someone said something like, hey, Stephen would be perfect to backfill that role because you just promoted somebody else. And Stephen's boss goes, I need Stephen right where he is. Don't touch Stephen.
Oh, so then he didn't get the promotion.
No, he was off the list to be considered.
Interesting.
So now, hopefully not every boss is like that, but some very self-interested bosses.
So what could Stephen had done differently?
Yeah, so what Stephen could have done is create a bench beneath him for people who could take on and be his backfill.
Yeah.
And start to lead that team and start to talk about what his future aspirations and ambitions are, and also start to build his relationships with stakeholders and colleagues at a more senior level.
Yeah.
As well as with a skip level boss. So those are some of the things Stephen could do. And Stephen could then stop updating people with just what he's working on now, but start having thoughts and ideas about what the unit could be doing.
Yeah, and maybe like bigger picture, right?
Bigger picture,
thinking more like a leader as opposed to just a worker bee.
That's exactly right. And thank you for picking up on that.
Yeah.
I talk about worker bees, and you do not want to be seen as just a worker bee.
Yeah.
You want to be seen as that higher level, capable of leading strategic thinker.
So we just have about 1 minute. And I know I could go on for longer with you, May. You've been amazing. And where can folks find your work? And what about your speaking engagements, or do you have access to those online as well? Yeah,
so my website, maybusch.com, is the place for all of that. And for the book, if you want to take a look at the book, then the URL is getvisibleBook.com.
All right. May, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Celeste.
Yeah, this has been so wonderful and eye-opening. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.